What's up, my comic comrades? Today we continue making our way through Marvel's current crossover event series, Judgment Day. The series focuses on Earth being judged by a celestial god, deciding if the world is worth continuing. Needless to say, things are not going great for the heroes, and they really hit the fan with issues 4 and 5, which we're about to dive into. If you haven't read the series for yourself, you can easily catch up by watching our previous videos covering issues 1 through 3 right here. But now, let's jump back into Judgment Day. Issue 4 starts off with Captain America trying to calm people down as they realize they could only have a few days left if the majority of Earth doesn't pass the celestial god's judgment. Captions from the judge even say, the world understands that its heroes cannot save them. They must be their own heroes now. They must decide what hero means. The tests are real. They cannot be shirked. The world shows its true face. I watch. And all this is happening as we see the world rioting and going crazy, throwing cocktail bombs at Captain America. Back at Avengers Mountain in the North Pole, Tony Stark, Arrow, Cersei, and several others are discussing ways they could avert Judgment Day. Cersei tells the gang the plan is simple, classic even. Eros is an emotional manipulator who has been desperately underperforming. His parents made him to be the equal and opposite of Thanos. He can connect to the machine and broadcast peace and love to the world. We come together into an age of Aquarius and we fake being better for just long enough to pass the test. A band-aid on our spiritual malaise. Arrow says, absolutely not, Cersei. If I use my abilities like this, I will fail the test. We all will. If we can't pass this test, we deserve to fail. If we don't believe love can win, what's the point? We are then taken around the world getting glimpses of ordinary civilians, Luke Cage, Ms. Marvel, and so on, as we see the judge passing judgment on every character we see. We see that Thor, by definition, must be worthy, so he passed this test. Which is crazy that the judge sees Thor as pure good, but failed Captain America, who's like the #1 goody two-shoes and Boy Scout in all of Marvel. He tempts Ms. Marvel disguised as Captain Marvel to leave the planet and save themselves, but she refuses, passing his test as well. The judge appears before Dr. Doom saying, I give him a simple challenge. Say that Reed Richards is smarter than you, and you will pass. But he laughs and then laughed some more, turns and leaves. He passes himself. I concur. So Dr. Doom wasn't willing to admit that Reed Richards was smarter than him to help ensure the planet's safety. Yet the judge still passed him anyway, showing us there's no real rhyme or reason to his judgment. Again, he failed Captain America, who's probably the most pure-hearted person in all of Marvel. Tony Stark even said if Captain America failed, what chance do any of us have? The judge continues to judge more people like Daredevil, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and so on. Then back at Avengers Mountain, Eros tells Iron Man and gang, we need to do something about my dear cousin Druig. He's spoiling the let's get together and love one another vibe. Iron Man replies, this is what Uranos did when Druig let him loose, as we see him destroying pretty much everyone who was on Mars. As Tony continues to say, he opened those portals to his armory and let's rip. He's a one-man military industrial complex, as if the nuclear deterrent could pick a fight with you. What's to stop Uranos from doing that to Earth? Star Fox answers, nothing whatsoever. The only thing preventing that is Druig isn't desperate enough yet. Because remember, amidst the judge judging all of Earth, the Eternals, X-Men, and Avengers are all at war with one another. Even though the X-Men and Avengers, along with several Eternals, have called a temporary truce to fight the judge. Long story short, after this, we see that the Prime Eternal Druig, in order to speed up his process of killing the mutants, unleashes the Unimind. But the Eternals, mutants, and several Avengers are able to hack into it, becoming part of the Unimind, taking a vote and making Eros the new Prime Eternal. Druig has no choice but to unleash Uranos, who betrays him and starts going ham on everybody. Cersei then says, I fear there's not a force on Earth that can touch him. Thankfully, our backup involves a force on Mars. Tony Stark goes to get those reinforcements and set them loose on Uranos. We see there's Storm and Magneto. Magneto having been injured from his previous fight, saying, my foes always thought me heartless. You merely made that literal. But hate will serve long enough, as he and Storm unleash an attack on Uranos that stalls them long enough for Tony to hack Uranos' portals, giving control to Magneto, who uses them to imprison Uranos once again. And with the fight finished, Magneto dies a hero in Storm's arms. Love it. But none of this matters because in the end, even after the new Prime Eternal Eros gives his plea for Earth saying, we can make this world a heaven, but we need more than a day to do it. It's not too late unless you make it too late. It's all in your hand. But the judge just says, it is time. I do not address the world. I have spoken enough. I have watched enough. I have judged enough. And I have decided. You have all lived long enough. If you had 1,000,000 years, you'd never do enough. You'll always be better tomorrow. But you didn't realize that one day tomorrow's would run out. And that day is today. As he starts killing everyone on Earth, with Captain America trying to shield people, but ends up holding a skeleton of someone who died in his arms, saying, we're going to die. I wasn't kidding when I said things get nuts in these issues. And before we see what's next in issue 5, we want to thank the good people behind Marvel Puzzle Quest for sponsoring today's episode. Marvel Puzzle Quest is a fun-filled match 3 puzzle RPG mobile game experience. And once you download this game, you'll quickly clearly see why 30+ million players have chosen to play. You can assemble your custom dream team from the Marvel Universe with characters like Spider-Man, Deadpool, She-Hulk, Black Panther, Moon Knight, and more. In fact, there are more than 250 superheroes and villains packed into this game to collect and power up in battle. Once your team is set, join your friends to become part of a mighty alliance and compete against others on the leaderboards in weekly tournaments that reward you and your alliance. And there is no better time to play, as Marvel Puzzle Quest is celebrating their 9th anniversary for the entire month of October, which means huge announcements, special events, and free gifts just for playing. They're also adding both dupe and arcade to the game, and arcade arrives with a brand new boss event. Starting on October 10th, players will need to work with their alliance to choose if they want to fight arcade with the battle-tested methods of today at their disposal, or in the digital murder world that arcade has created. So download Marvel Puzzle Quest now on the App Store, Google Play, Amazon App Store, or Steam. And as an extra bonus for Variant viewers, all new players that download the game using our special link, 505games.link/variant, will also be gifted with a free classic Spider-Man to add to your in-game roster. Again, just go to 505games.link/variant or click our link in the description, and we'll see you in the game. Now let's dive into issue 5 and see if anyone survives. The beginning of the issue opens up at Avengers Mountain with the Celestial saying judgment has been rendered. Only sentencing remains. It is simple. I turn to the world and I whisper, end. Man, things are not great. Now back in New York, Captain America is sulking in the snow and is given coffee by a lady named Jada. She sits next to him saying, I knew we'd fail, but you tried. I appreciate that. Their conversation is then interrupted by Nightcrawler saying, hello Captain, I'm saving the world that hates, fears, and now judges me. I think everyone should see you give this false god a piece of your mind. Interested? And of course he is, so he goes with Nightcrawler to the North Pole to confront the Celestial. Captain America then stands at the foot of the judge saying, I've stood before tyrants before. They've all been so sure it's all over. They were all as sure as you are. I was there in 1940 and people thought it was over. Heroism isn't about strength. It's about not giving in. And truth is, it's not over as long as any of us are standing. The world can hear me. Know this. We're all Avengers now. Assemble and avenge. But the judge doesn't even respond. He just brings down lightning to kill Captain America and Nightcrawler where they stand. Nightcrawler comes back on Krakoa, of course, with mutants being immortal and all, but Cap, dead. The remaining mutants, Eternals, and Avengers then meet at Krakoa to put together a plan. The Eternals tell everyone they can't willingly attack Celestials, as their first principle is to protect Celestials. But Cersei says it appears that the Eternals have turned off their psychic firewalls. It would be terrible if someone just took us over and made us punch our gods in the face. Magik then asks Destiny, what are our chances? And Destiny replies, this is our only chance, with certain modifications. So the Eternals, mutants, and Avengers launch a full-blown assault, and though they get some good hits in, nothing quite gets through. Even the God of Thunder, Thor, brings his hammer down upon the judge, but when he does, the judge says, yes, Thor is worthy, but the world is not. I make every part of Thor unworthy. His skin sloughs from his body in revulsion. As he kills and disintegrates Thor, he then proceeds to kill Starbrand, the Phoenix, Jean Grey, and Exodus, literally melting them. I don't think you guys understand how crazy this is. The judge just disintegrated some of the top tier heroes in all of Marvel like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. Dude then kills Miss Marvel, The Thing, Captain Marvel. Pretty much everyone's dying out here. It isn't even a fight, it's a massacre, and the massacre continues for the next few pages. The judge just keeps wrecking shop on everybody, the only survivors being a small group including Iron Man, Nightcrawler, Cersei, Eros, and a few others. The remaining group of heroes then put their heads together to figure out a new plan, including Wolverine, Jack of Knives, Iron Man, Jean Grey, and a few more. The plan is to use Jack of Knives as their scalpel, so to speak, to hopefully cut the judge in the right spot that kills him. But that doesn't work, and Jack of Knives gets disintegrated as a distraction for the rest of them to get to the progenitor. The team asks the heroes outside to buy some time while they fight through the Celestial's body, while Exodus is telling Nightcrawler, we have so few eggs, Cyclops must return, not this heresy. This is against all the rules of Krakoa. Nightcrawler then says, no, it's against our custom, and customs are just habits that are way too big for their boots. As long as we live, we try something new. That's what we do. Cyclops is a great leader, but he's not who Earth needs right now, as we see Captain America's shield burst from an egg as Cap is brought back to life at the end of the issue. Man, guys, this has been a complete and utter massacre so far. Awesome, but complete and utter carnage. I'm very curious to see how this gets resolved and how characters like Thor get brought back to life, because there's no way you're keeping the God of Thunder dead. In any case, I'm loving this series so far, but what do you guys think? Are you loving it as much as we are? Let us know in the comments. First up for the week of September 27th, we have DC vs. Vampires issue 9, Road Trip. Our heroes split up and spread out across the globe to prepare for the final strikes against the Vampire Kingdom. Here we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 100. As a massive Power Ranger fan, I cannot wait to see what this issue brings, as this 100 milestone issue kicks off brand new beginnings. Now we have Batman Beyond White Knight issue 5. Gotham's most wanted, Jackie Quinzel, has been spotted at Wayne Industries. Now it's up to the former vigilante Bruce Wayne and his new sidekick, the Joker, to break her out. Next up is Tim Drake Robin issue 1. After years away, Tim Drake Robin is taking center stage in a brand spanking new Robin series of his own. And finally, we have Thor issue 27. Donny Cates writes Venom once again. In this team up of kings, Thor King of Asgard and Eddie Brock King in Black must set aside their personal differences to save the one thing they both love: Earth. And that's going to bring today's episode to a close, but if you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, like, subscribe, and comment. It helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you next time when I talk about all things comics.